Introduce us.
Hello, this is
Much Ado
About
Robin
Hood. So what episode are we talking about today,
We are
Sondra?
talking about episode 1, and
Dun, dun, dun.
what's the official title on it?
Will you tolerate this?
Will you tolerate
Is it crazy
this?
I knew that from memory? But
Yes.
I've seen this show so many times.
the music is amazing for the intro. That was what hooked me right away into it.
Oh,
was
yeah.
like da, 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 you know, like that whole yeah. It's very
It's so
it's
like,
very strong.
It's very strong, but it's like such an action theme.
Yeah, it's got that
Where
feel.
it's so good, and I love
Yeah.
how it opens. And it just opens. It's guys running through this forest, and they fight, and then
Yeah.
and sets up a lot of stuff in that first opening, right before the theme song opens and stuff. Plot of this first episode is Robin Hood and his sidekick slash servant Much comes back from the Crusades, and their land has been being taken care of by Guy of Gisborne.
Yeah, taken care of, as in, like, he's taxed
And
the poor people.
a lot of the crime is being horribly punished in a way that is disproportionate to the crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so Robin Hood goes to the sheriff about this, and the sheriff is like, whatever, dude.
Basically.
And so,
like Robin.
so
it's
the
really
sheriff says, basically gives him an ultimatum of either you go along with this or you lose your land.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how the episode ends, kind of, in a way, is him making his final decision.
Right, yeah.
No,
I feel like something I love about this show is that they don't romanticize that they're warriors. It's not like, oh,
Right.
look, we are warriors. We're
Yeah.
modern men.
Right.
Here are two guys coming back from a war.
Right.
And then they come back home, and they see everything that they wanted to be, that kept them through the nights there, of coming back and, I'll get to be this, and I have this, and Loxley is still there, and my family is still there,
Yeah.
and the people who I love and my people are still there, and they
Yeah.
want me, and I can get through this to get back there. And they get back, and it's completely different.
Exactly.
And-
the sheriff is kind of taken over and sent Guy and, like, okay, tax these poor people. And when, like, one of the opening parts of this first scene with Guy, and it is like, it's 4 sacks of flour.
And Robin Hood is just like, wait, why is this going to immediately to the sheriff? This is
Right.
my land. I can be dealing with this.
Right,
Let me deal with
exactly.
my issues. I don't know, it's kind of like this territorial thing as well. And it's these two guys, these two macho guys. And I feel like it's hilarious because guy comes in and he's wearing all black and he's on an all black horse and he's immediately doing this whole looking from
There are 4 slacks of flour.
looking down at all of these poor peasants, and all the peasants are looking at him with these sad faces, and it's like, you know who the bad guy is here.
Exactly.
His name's Guy.
Yep.
He's just a bad guy.
Guy.
So, okay, first irk thing. Was he wearing it in the first episode, or the
Yes.
turtleneck of death?
The yellow turtleneck.
Oh my gosh.
I love this turtleneck,
but
but in a...
it looks so ridiculous.
It's so funny to, like, if you... Like, once you notice it, I feel like you can't unsee
You can't
it.
unsee it. It's just this weird
So-
mauve-y gold-looking thing.
Well, it's glittery, too.
and it's glittery. And it's like...
It's like a disco tank.
yes!
And it's hilarious because it's Guy of Gisborne. He's this really tough guy and he talks like this. And
Yeah.
he sniffs and he
and he's
does all these
Richard
things.
Armitage,
And
too.
he's Richard Armitage.
Who is, like, this manly man.
And like he plays Thorin now, and it's just like everyone knows him as this like big macho guy. He's wearing a yellow.
He's wearing a
turtleneck.
yellow turtleneck. The black jacket makes up kinda for it,
I
but
feel
the
like
rest
you
of
don't
it is
notice it because he's wearing all leather.
because he's wearing exactly. He's wearing all leather, and then they threw in this weird turtleneck. But anyways, so
And they ditch it later, I think.
Yeah.
But the first few
first
episodes, it's just like
oh.
there.
yeah, it's just there. It's
Once you see
ridiculous.
it, you
can't
can't
unsee it. Your eyes are
So-
scarred. But like his introduction is it's the most intense thing. Like they enter the whole
I feel like that is like one
episode
of the.
intensely.
I feel like a lot of the introductions they either do horrible with or they do it spot on.
Right, yeah.
So I feel like Maid Marian's introduction, so Lady Marian of Knighton Hall, kind of had this weak introduction, opening
Very
in many
weak
ways,
little
where
opening.
he goes to her house to meet her dad. And so it's not even that he goes to meet her. It's, oh, hey, she's there and she's still unmarried. And hey.
And very much unmarried.
Allow me to.
It's almost like a Jane Austen thing. And she is still unmarried.
Yeah, and they make a big deal about that through the whole episode, kind of, where the sheriff makes a comment in the first episode about it, too, where he's like, and what is this unmarried lady saying about this to me? It's just like...
I want to talk about the epic fight scene in the beginning of the episode.
Oh, no.
I love how much Robin's been walking, and they come across his place, and all of a sudden they're just coerced into this Sarah. And they're gonna dig this ditch for a guy, and the guy offers them food, and Much just looks at Robin like, please, food, no. And then, of course, Robin gets dragged in by Sarah, and Sarah's like, hey, Robin, come here. And he's like, no. And she's like, yes. And they start making out. It's like, oh, come on.
And then her dad walks in.
And then her dad notices. And
which is the worst nightmare of every 16-year-old ever.
And Much is trying to distract him and talk to him. He's like,
don't stop.
Stop! Don't look that way, master! And then Robin does this epic backflip after he starts fighting Sarah's dad. Which is the only
cool thing about this whole scene.
Yeah, and they don't even show the landing!
I feel like the whole scene is just a weird writer's thing to get the audience to go, oh man, this guy is cool!
Yeah, totally.
Which, firstly, I don't think they had to do because the first scene. And secondly, they also wanted to prove how hot he is. Which, let's face it.
He is.
I feel like the other thing is Sarah's dad is an awesome, good fighter. Where is this guy? Why is he not fighting in the wars?
Right? He just whips his sword out, right? I think
he whips his sword out and he does this weird arm thing where he's look how good I am. He does the whole swirl thing and it's wasting your time. Yeah, Jones would have shot you by now. I feel like so much in this episode they try and prove the sheriff is the evil one in this episode.
Yeah, him and Guy are
they have the sheriff la-di-da-di-da, and they have him squish a bird in his hand.
I know, okay.
And it's so disgusting. And it's anger issues.
I remember watching that the first time, and I'm just like, oh no, don't squish the bird. Don't. Oh, he squished the bird. Oh, my little fuzzy heart went. It just broke the second the bird did. I'm like,
I feel like that's the point where you're just the sheriff is evil. Because a lot of the things he says is not horrible in many ways. He's oh, these guys, not a guy, all these people, they stole flowers. They need to be punished. That's totally cool.
Right.
Oh, you killed the king's deer. You need to be punished. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not married. That's
totally
cool. But then he squishes a bird. And he doesn't even do it in front of people, which is kind of the creepy thing.
And the thing is, he didn't do it on purpose either. He was just sitting there steaming, and he was trying to calm down, petting this bird, and then all of a sudden you hear this.
And then he looks down at his hands. It's just
he just goes.
I feel like that's one of the coolest parts of this episode, though, is that they have this sheriff kind of being not a drama queen, but just crazy. I am everywhere.
Yeah, and he's like a spoiled child. He sits there like he is Prince John or something. He's just, I'm here, I'm in charge, nobody else gets it but me. Come here, bring me food now. I feel like
he does a really good job. Keith
the
Allen
actor is amazing.
He's having so much fun with this.
You can tell he's got that mischievous sparkle in his eye where he's like, ha ha ha.
I feel like that, and the actor just seems like he's having a ball with it.
Totally.
I am gonna play the worst bad guy you could ever imagine. Surprise! I'm here. He is introduced in this tub. You don't really see his face.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Yeah,
and you get kind of this squicky feeling from him, right off the bat. Yeah, where you're just I am disgusted by you.
He's just greasy,
yes, greasy. And then he makes the whole comment to Marion about, oh, you are a single woman in this world, and it's creepy.
Yeah, totally.
It's
completely creepy.
It's so creepy.
And I get a kick. I have to talk about wardrobe a little bit. I get a kick out of the outfits they put him in.
Especially in this first episode.
First episode, I'm sorry, whoever the costume designer was, they did a great job. But when they did a really really good job. But with this
We love this show.
Oh my gosh. With this first episode, what were they thinking with the fur thing on his head?
I feel like that was their first time trying to be historically accurate, and they were like,
so bad.
oh, Guy has 24 men at this point in the episode.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to start counting down how many times he loses men.
And I'm keeping track of how many times Much messes up in an episode, like moments
I
where
feel
you're
like
like,
you got up
oh,
to 7.
Much. I did. I
when
got up
you were
to
counting
about
this
7
episode.
in the first episode, because, like, most of them were like...
Like, Much
poor
gets
guy,
kidnapped
he
in this
gets
episode.
kidnapped.
It's ridiculous.
He's
Much is
so
the damsel
hungry.
Much is the damsel in distress.
He is the damsel in distress, and that's the funny thing, because Robin always has to come and save his butt every time, like, he gets in trouble. One of the Oh Much moments was the very first Oh Much moment, where it was him and the tree things trying to make, like, they were surrounded in the, like, you're totally surrounded. My master and I! There's 2 of them! Let's go back and get them!
I feel like that fight scene sets up so much of what the show is about,
so
though.
great.
It's so good. Watch the first 5 minutes if you don't watch this whole show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good job.
I get such a kick out of Alan, because he's the first person you see.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts going on the spiel about, I'm from Loxley. When he's not from... Did I say I was from Loxley? I meant I was from... Where would you say? Adele! I'm Alan Adele!
I'm from Adele!
I'm sorry. I had to put that in.
So I really enjoyed... I think this episode is not the best episode ever. I mean, it's a good episode. It's a solid episode.
Oh, yeah.
But it sets up
It's the
so
beginning
much.
of a new era.
It sets up so much, and it kind of goes everywhere, so you're kind of like, what's the plot here? And there's not much of a plot until, like, the last 5 minutes, where there's a fight scene.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, they kind of go from fight scene to fight scene, and then, oh man, look, this world is horrible. Ah, fight scene. So the episode ends with Robin Hood getting kidnapped by merry men. But they're not so merry. This was Much Ado About Robin Hood with Sondra
and Lee. Bye!